Welcome to Statesman.com and another edition of the High School Blitz. I'm Danny Davis. This is Rick Cantu. Rick, the regular season's over, but before we start talking about the postseason, let's do what we always do on Monday. Let's talk about one thing we learned. Let's give out a game ball or two. So what is one thing you learned in Week 11?
One thing I learned in Week 11 is that you can go winless in August, September, and October and still make the playoffs in Texas high school football. Salado, 0-9 entering the game against Smithville the other day. They had been outscored by an average score of 43-9 all season long. They scored a season high 28 points. Bang, 1-9. Bank 'em in the playoffs. Salado, 1-9. Now to play 8-2 Belleville. Good luck to them.
Yeah, good win for a pretty young Eagles team that hadn't won since 2013. One thing I learned has to do with the Manor Mustangs. They're going to head into playoffs with a lot of emotion and some momentum. This past weekend, they beat Hutto 42-26, or 7-3 now. But what kind of stands out about the Hutto win is it came 3 days after Lance Thomas, who was a former football player, former basketball player out there, had been killed in a car accident. So emotions were running pretty high at the football game. Hutto actually took a knee on their first play, handed the game ball over to Coach Jackson and Lance's family. So that was a very nice gesture by the Hippos. And now we see what happens in the playoffs with those two teams. Manor, 2012 doesn't seem so long ago, but they reached the state semifinals. They have one player left from that team, Jamal Collins. So let's see what happens to the Mustangs. They can kind of go on another run. They have some talent with Eric Fowler, Kevin Waits, LaDamian Brooks, and we'll see what happens with the Mustangs. Okay, Rick, it's time to give out a game ball. Who are you delivering yours to?
My game ball, Danny, goes to Steven Gallardo, wide receiver, Burnett. All he did was 14 catches, 248 yards, 2 touchdowns, and a 41-28 victory over Lampasas. In any league, that's pretty darn good. He gets my game ball.
Yeah, Burnett definitely needed that win to get into the postseason.
Absolutely.
And I'm going to give my game ball to someone who stepped up in a must-win game. Georgetown running back Dakota Cahill against Vandergrift, 22 rushes, 128 yards, 3 touchdowns, a 42-28 win. Georgetown needed to beat a state-ranked Vandergrift team, have Leander lose. Everything kind of fell into place for them, but Dakota did the heavy lifting, and now they're in the postseason after last year's heartbreak in that 63-62 loss to Vandergrift. So good job for Dakota. He's played really well over the last month, 4 straight 100-yard games. But watch out for the Eagles in the postseason. They have Reagan on Thursday. Okay, those are our game balls. That's what we learned this weekend. Check back with us later in the week, and we'll be looking into the postseason.